Hey, it's D. It's a brand new episode coming right for you, right on the FTO network. Enjoy. All right, everybody, this is a brand new episode of Table Cheese, episode 3. We're still going strong, man. Right on. I'm your host, D.
And I'm Anton Sixx of the Chessy Controller-Twitch.
You said the whole name. I should see. I'm D of FTO Nerd Talk. Since we're putting out whole titles and whatnot, let's do that.
Gotta own
but
it.
We gotta own it. You're absolutely right. We got a lot of topics to talk about this week. I know we're gonna talk about Destiny. I also want to touch on the gaming prices with the PS5 and like how that's gonna look for the VR in the future. I've been listening to Kindly Friendly, like you suggested. Like I want to get on top of that. And we got like a TV show cancellation that touches on video games. But let's do this.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as the pricing stuff, this week PlayStation announced price increases for the PlayStation 5, both versions, the disc and digital, across the board for every region but the United States. So this
but the U.S.
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
affecting
weird.
Canada, South and Central America, Japan, Europe,
Australia.
Yeah, pretty much across the board. And we actually talked on Cheesy Controller a few weeks ago. The Meta Quest did the same thing, but in the U.S., where they had a piece of tech that had been out for a couple years and then had to increase the price of it to keep it on the market, essentially, due to like inflation, due to like a lot of budgetary constraints, like shipping's costing more, so like actually getting the physical units out there. It seems to be something that's going on with hardware due to a lot of the economic factors going on right now. Just like gas prices are up, so like putting something on a truck and having that truck drive it somewhere is going to cost more because the gas that it takes to do that exact same thing is costing more right now.
And like I'm also hearing like it's a chip problem. Also, there aren't that many chips to make these games, like to put them out there. Also, but if that's the case, wouldn't like the U.S. be hit kind of hard also? Since like you do have like that shipping problem. Like why do you think the U.S. isn't getting hit as hard as all these other countries are?
I believe I heard that Biden signed a bill recently that's somewhat protected from things like that happening. So within the U.S. to try and like avoid a depression and to kind of like stabilize the economy. So because like if the price of something increases, because we haven't been like we've been hit with inflation in the States, but not as bad as other places in the world. Unfortunately, like actually the U.S. dollar is pretty strong right now in the grand scheme. So like we have the closest conversion rate. Like the dollar is more powerful than the euro right now, and so just looking at it like that, the strength of the U.S. dollar in the global market, I think, is one of the things keeping the PS5 price increase from hitting the States. Because if you look, I remember probably 10, 15 years ago now, the euro, it was almost 2-1 with the dollar. But now the dollar is stronger than the euro. So if, let's say something is $10, like that same $10 is probably worth approximately the same $10 as it did then, but the 5 euros it would take then is now 10 euros.
That's interesting. That's interesting. All right. Wow. It's not like there's a lot of reason as to why it's like that, but all in all, it seems like Biden saved like a lot of gamers some coins this year. Because
I mean, the price increases aren't that drastic, and now with subscription services and stuff, you can buy a console and you don't necessarily have to spend as much on buying a game with it because there's so many free-to-play options. You don't necessarily have to, because even with subscription services, you could buy a year of a subscription service and get more games than you could even play in that year. And access to a lot of the new, because PlayStation's
talked
not
about
doing
that on a previous episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just kind of one of those big things changing gaming, because growing up, like, I didn't have anything like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus Premium. Like, I bought my PS3 in high school, I remember, and I got Little Big Planet, Star Wars The Force Unleashed Ultimate Sith Edition, a Blu-ray of Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete, and there was one other game. Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, which was entirely too hard of a game. I did not know what I was getting myself into. But I remember getting the PS3 and, like, getting the Blu-ray so I had something to watch on it, and then because the PS3 was... PlayStations have been, outside of my Xbox One, the only Blu-ray players I've ever had. I've never had, like, a dedicated... Like, whenever I get a physical movie, I get it on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray if that's available. Try and get that, nice steel book to put on the shelf.
You still buy Blu-rays?
Yeah.
Shit.
I bought recently I think I haven't bought any in a while. I'm waiting for them to do that director's cut of Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm going to try and get this steel book of, like, the director's cut of that.
Like with the 11 extra minutes that they're bringing it back to the theaters?
Yeah. So I want to get that version and get that in a steelbook on 4K Blu-ray, because the first time I saw that movie, well, the only time I've seen that movie, because I'm waiting on the Blu-ray, and, like, the standard version Blu-ray's out, but before it came out, they announced that it's coming back with 11 extra minutes. And I'm like, so why would I buy a lesser version of a movie when there's going to be... So I'm on the wait train for that. But I got...
You ain't no sucker.
Right.
Because I'm sure that there's tons of folks out there who bought it first day it came out, and they are kicking themselves in the face hearing about these new 11 minutes. So I get you.
Right. And they're probably going to buy it again. But see, me, I don't need 2 copies of it on Blu-ray. Like, there's certain movies that I could see that with, like Promare, like certain Scott Pilgrim. Well, I don't have any of these duplicates. I'm just naming movies that I have on Blu-ray that if I were to get another copy that's, like, has more content, I wouldn't be mad. But then again, all these movies are years old and not.
I guess in the search of getting to know you better, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I guess, is Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete.
Look at this guy. Wow.
It's the movie I've seen the most. Like, in high school, I knew, like, the words to the movie.
Damn, dude. I thought I was obsessed with Advent Children in my youth, because I know I downloaded it before the DVD came out, and I had to watch that in Japanese quite a few times. Funny enough, on my PS3, but man, like, wow, favorite movie. That's cool, man.
Yeah, but I mean, also up there, I gotta put, like, the Demon Slayer movie, the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, like, this modern wave of anime movies, and then Cloverfield. Like, I'm a big kaiju person.
Have you seen, like, Dragon Ball Super in theater?
Oh, no. So, I'm not that big of a Dragon Ball fan. I'm going to wait until that movie is more readily available, but I didn't realize the anime movie that was actually back in theaters recently that I didn't realize was happening until the day it was happening while I was at work, which is always fun. They brought the Bleach Hellverse movie back to theaters. And the Bleach movies, yeah, they did it as, like, a Fathom event. Like, they did it really old school. Like, I remember seeing the first Bleach movie in theaters and having to go through Fathom events, and it was, like, 2 nights only. This was 1 afternoon only at select theaters. But
some old school shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you gotta be, like, a fan, like, on top of it to see something like that. No, yeah. I get that.
But in the movie space, like, I'm going to see Nope this weekend at some point, and Bullet Train. I want to see Nope and Bullet Train a lot more than I want to see the Dragon Ball movie.
The Dragon Ball listeners not gonna be happy with you saying stuff like that, man.
I
Not
mean, I'm
not at
here for
all.
like Dragon Ball Fighters is an excellent game. Like I've heard the movie's good, but
I actually have heard good things about it. I haven't heard like anyone say anything negative about this new movie. And like as we all know, like the anime movies is just like a segue into like the actual series of what we're gonna be seeing like the next season of. And so
well, this movie actually is canon for
what?
so it's not canon in the grander Dragon Ball Super. It's canon in their mobile game. They have a so the reason it's called Dragon Ball Super Superhero is because there's a mobile game called Dragon Ball Superheroes. And so this is like and I'm not the one to speak authoritatively about it because I haven't seen it and I don't play the game and I'm not that big of a Dragon Ball fan.
No, he's an expert, folks.
But I mean, like, I'm like in my Discord server, we have 2 channels that are 2 of our most active channels that are just talking about manga and anime and like, so we have 2 entire channels. I get tons of messages. Like my timeline is just full of anime news and stuff. So
I didn't know about this. Is this like the new one that came out that has like the GT fighters and whatnot attached to it, or is it like a different mobile game that's out?
I'm not sure. This is a card game, mobile game that this is like related to, but yeah.
Dragon Ball card game is that on point? They got a movie out of it?
I mean, mobile games make so much money that like Fate is like a series that just does like ridiculous quality anime because they make so much money off their mobile game. Like I feel like Bleach's mobile game is the reason Bleach is coming back because the Bleach mobile game makes ridiculous amounts of money.
It's just hard to fathom, I guess. I mean, like, although you saying that, I have seen less slander about folks who actually do play mobile games because I guess we all know, like, maybe like 10 years ago, it was always like the negative thing to do to play mobile games. And like now I don't hear as much slander about it.
Yeah, I mean, still, if phone gaming has changed significantly from the days of Flappy Bird and Temple Run. Like, the newest Nier JRPG, just like a full Nier story that like I have it on my phone and I mean to go play it, and like a better version of Apex Legends.
Okay.
Like all of these mobile games, Call of Duty Mobile is like, if they would put that out on console, that'd be an insane game. It's just, so people who play on their phone, like Fortnite was kind of a big one for me. Like I'd play Fortnite at home, grind out a season, and then like be out and about and like just pop on my phone, do a couple matches, complete a couple challenges, level up a little bit, and then like switching back and forth. And like, so phone games, the majority of phone games that I play are gacha games, which are like, they have the random drops where, so like I play the Fire Emblem one, so like the gameplay is a real-time strategy, but I'm rolling for characters to put in my party, and I want to build out my party of like the characters that I actually like, so the more that I play, I'll get the currency that I can use to roll for characters, or you could buy the currency that you use to roll for characters. It's a whole thing.
Fire Emblem Heroes is what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
How am I just now hearing about this?
Oh, Nintendo. So Nintendo's done. They did Super Mario Run, which was their first mobile game. Rest in peace. Is now shut down. Then they did Dragalia Lost, or they did Fire Emblem Heroes, and Fire Emblem Heroes made so much money being a gacha game based on a property that people like that they tried doing an entirely new property as a gacha game in Dragalia Lost, which apparently was really popular in Japan, but it's just, for me, it wasn't like it. We get so many gacha games so consistently. The ones that grab me are like either have something really interesting going on gameplay wise, or have the right crossover at the right time. It really depends, because I play, and I guess I play a lot less of these than I played earlier on, but I play Fire Emblem Heroes, I play Grand Blue Fantasy, I play, what's the other one? I'm like picturing the roles in my head of like, I played Pokemon Masters for a while, but all of these are just gacha games where I wish they'd bring the Monster Hunter one to the West, because some of the things is Monster Hunter Riders, and so it's kind of similar to Pokemon in the concept of how they're handling it.
I think you mentioned that game before on Chessy Controller.
Yeah.
Now I didn't know what gacha games were, so I just looked it up. A gacha game is a 2-player maze game in which one player attempts to catch the other. It originally started in 1973.
That must be a different reference to gacha.
Okay.
Because all the gachas, I mean, they'll have multiplayer things, but they're not necessarily
maze games.
Right. Gacha actually refers to gashapon, which are like the vending machine things. You know, like capsule toys in the U.S. where you put like a coin in and turn it and get a capsule out with something in it.
It's a big thing in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gashapon, and like the mobile version, that's why I say you roll or you draw for whatever. You summon, like every game has a different name for it, but it's, you get a currency, you'll like buy something from a specific set, and you know that the thing you actually want might be in the set, but you might not actually get it. You're just kind of putting a coin into a machine, turning the lever, and what you get out is a JPEG of a character in a
Similar
video
to
game.
A loot box in a way.
Yeah. But like loot box is like buying when you do 10 rolls. For anybody who is familiar with gacha games, like you can do just one to try and get the character, or you can do 10 at once where you have an increased chance of getting the character you actually want. So that's like buying a loot box where you buy the 10 and you know you're going to get 10 characters and you're hoping that one of them is the character you want. It's like blind boxes. IRL.
Okay.
Just in games. And primarily mobile games. Like Bleach, Brave Souls, and a couple have come over to Steam and PlayStation, but there's not one. I mean, Genshin Impact, I guess, would be the biggest one that's kind of came over, but...
See, like now I'm learning stuff. There you go. Now people are listening also learning stuff, because I'm pretty sure some folks out there are on the same level as I am when it comes to a lot of the culture of gaming. My goodness, man, I have been out. You drop out of a culture for 10 years and like the new stuff that comes out or things that people are doing like in your stead just really takes over.
Yeah.
But I was talking about this show on my Twitter podcast that I do like on Spaces, and it's Resident Evil on Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this getting canceled?
Yeah, I heard it got canceled after one season. Chris from the Chessy Controller podcast, like he does Resident Evil speed runs. He has like a model of the mansion from Resident Evil 7. Like he's a Resident Evil super fan, and like for better or worse, he's seen all the movies and.
Yeah.
And
there's some cringe movies out there.
Yeah, right. The Mila Jovovich entire, like, there are more of those movies than there are mainline games in that series. Just to...
No, not all of them are hitters. No,
right.
no.
Most, maybe the first one has some nostalgia credit for, but yeah. It did. I mean, if you're a fan of anything, for the most part, you take the good and you take the bad, and you just kind of have to accept that the bad is bad. And but you watched it because you're a fan, and so Resident Evil the show seemed like it was like. I actually heard about this show in context at work of one of my coworkers is like, "Hey, you're a gamer. This show is based on this game," and I'm like, "Yeah," but I have a friend who is a super fan of this series. and even he says don't bother with it, so I'm not going to go anywhere near it. Like, there's so much media that I need to go and consume. I won't waste my time with the Resident Evil Netflix show. Like, I can pass. Like, if I'm going to be on Netflix, I'll watch Tekken Bloodline.
Have you watched Tekken Bloodline?
The first few episodes. So
it's Tekken 3. It really is. Like, someone mentioned that on my posts on me talking about it on Twitter. Like, they said, like, it's essentially Tekken 3. And, like, you know, I can't disagree. It even, like, towards, like, the end of it, like, if you watch the very end, like, it is the story of Jin through Tekken 3, like, of you just not playing a character.
Right.
Like, there's no fighting really inside of it. Like, not much, anyway.
I heard they added in some characters from Tekken 7, like Leroy Smith.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of brought in, like, some of the newer, cooler elements and just told the story of that older game, which, I mean, this is probably... A lot of times, like, certain things will be replaced. Like, when it's like how should I get the story of this? They'll replace Tekken 3 with Tekken Bloodline because it's better animated, it's more modern, so they can show that mixed in. Like, I'm just thinking about it in, like, the content creator mindset of, like, if you're doing a YouTube video and you want to talk about any of the events that happened in Tekken 3, you're not going to use footage of Tekken 3. You're probably going to use clips from this anime because it'll just look better.
And, like, I gotta say, like, it looks good. Like, I like the quality. I like the story. Like, it was only 6 episodes, but, you know, it was... Well,
I'm probably at about the halfway point then.
Yeah. It's worth to watch. Like, it's not like nothing, like, to sneeze over. Like, I will say this. I will like to see more of this, but after that ending, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, these gaming adaptations, because, like, one of my most hyped anime for next month is Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Studio Trigger is making an anime based on Cyberpunk 2077 where they use Night City and, like, some of the concepts in the game, but it's like a Studio Trigger anime. And Studio Trigger is one of my top, like, probably my favorite studio. Like, overall, I mean, Bones is up there. Like, Bones has done some amazing work, but putting Studio Trigger's name on something that's saying something really serious to me personally.
Okay, well, because I was about to say something that was the complete opposite of that, but, like, hearing you say that, maybe I won't say that now. It looked a little soft, like, animation wise. Like, I wasn't sure, like, how tough it was going to be, considering that, like, you know, Cyberpunk has, like, a tough aesthetic video game wise. I wasn't sure, like, if this anime was going to like hold, like, the same kind of visual.
No. So you know Star Wars Visions?
Yeah.
You know the episode with the twins on the Star Destroyer?
Not as familiar.
I'm trying to think. The episode, like, they have, like, the rainbow kind of lightsabers. It's two twins that are both supposed to be, like, Sith Lords.
Okay,
and
yeah, I say now.
So that animation style has been Studio Trigger. Like, they did Gurren Lagann, they did Kill la Kill, they did Promare, they did that episode of Star Wars Visions, and now they're doing this. So their animation style is just super colorful, super, like, punchy, super... Yeah, their animation, they're space wizards, I've heard. Like, people have talked about Studio Trigger and called them space wizards before, so that's the kind of level of work we're going to be getting out of that series.
Okay. Well, I guess I can't be mad at that. Like, I guess I was expecting more of a darker tone, but you know what? Like, you get what you can get sometimes, and
this looks like it's going to be, you're going to have your shonen MC, you're going to have your Kamina-like main character, and he's an edge runner. They're fighting back against the corpos of Night City, and they're, you know, parkouring all over the place, and they're gonna have bright neon yellow jackets, and it's just gonna be cool. It's gonna be
you make it sound tropey when you say it like that, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, Studio Trigger is very tropey. It is the visual feast. It's like the story is going to be like an inch deep. It's not. It's just a vehicle for you to look at crazy explosions and just like one scene from Gurren Lagann is Kamina drawing his sword, and he just starts pulling the sword, and the sword is just like impossibly long and like just never coming out of the sheath. And it's not like this big thing, but it's just like, look how cool we can animate somebody drawing a sword.
No, I get that. I get that completely. I'm watching the video of it on YouTube right now, and it's clean. It's really clean. It really is. Like this is. And it does look pretty boss, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't say like it's that so far as fan service. It's just like, let's just watch some pretty colors and some things blow up.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get you. This looks cool. All right, that may change my face on it when it comes to this. I guess I was just like expecting something gruff, like like it's Cyberpunk. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more fun of a ride. But earlier, you were saying some of the things that have developed in the 10 years of you being away from gaming. So, one of the things, 2014, the fall of 2014 was a magical time for gamers, because a little game called Destiny would be coming out.
Good segue. I like this. Oh, keep going, please. I'm here for it.
So Destiny comes out. It's from Bungie, the developers of Halo. It's their first project since Halo Reach. It's on next-gen consoles. The PS4 and Xbox One were out, but didn't really have their killer app yet, And Destiny comes along, published by Activision, the people who publish Call of Duty. Just insane marketing budget. Music from Paul McCartney. Live action trailers playing during the Super Bowl. Like, this game was on the cover of Time magazine. This game was everywhere. You couldn't throw a stone without hitting something Destiny related. And it was the biggest thing in the world. Destiny comes out. It is a co-op, 3-player, online, sci-fi, space shooter. But, like, the lore is insane. Their content runs out. People start running out of things to do. Like, they get through the first raid. I remember there weren't that many exotics in the game. There wasn't always a carrot on the stick pulling you along, so a lot of people fell off. Understandable. Like, games... Think about Borderlands. Borderlands comes out. Everybody's on Borderlands. Everybody plays through Borderlands. Everybody drops off of Borderlands. Everybody's just thinking Destiny is Borderlands in space.
All right.
But Destiny, when they were coming out, said they had a 10-year plan for Destiny with Activision, and there were like all these leaked screenshots of like things that actually came to pass, like expansions that were leaked in like 2015 that then came out in like 2019. Like, there was a roadmap, and Destiny 2 was on that roadmap. Destiny 2 comes out, and then one of the craziest things, so it was crazy that Bungie left Microsoft and stopped making Halo. That was already like a huge shift.
That was big news.
Insanely huge news. And then several years later, I want to say 2020, you see the news that Bungie is leaving Activision and taking the IP and the game of Destiny with them from Activision and going completely independent.
Dude, I remember all the gamers went nuts about that, yeah.
Right. Bungie, it just makes moves that just will shake up the entire industry, because they've been around for 30 years. They used to make Mac games. But Bungie, over the past 30 years of being around and making games, and they've made a name for themselves. Like, you see Bungie, and it's like, if you're playing a Bungie game, right now it's probably Destiny, but they're talking about working on another game that's another new IP, and I'm super excited for whatever that is, because I was a huge Halo fan. I mean, I still kind of am a Halo fan, not as much since Bungie left. And I'm a huge Destiny fan. Like, I have engrams that you can see in my background on my shelf, and I have like a ghost of. That's probably like my Destiny section. I have like Cade 6 and. But like for Destiny to have a section on my shelf of like things, like I have a strange coin pin on my pin board. Like Destiny is one of those things that like it's just really cool. But for me, I play probably every time they drop a big expansion, I'll hop in, I'll play, get through the campaign or the story or whatever it is, and then kind of drop out for the seasonal stuff, let that stuff build up, play out, see like the clips on Twitter. Like I'm not a diehard Destiny. Like now Destiny has become a full MMO and it's like the grind is real. I didn't even get the season pass. Like I'm back and I'm playing and like I'm leveling my character and I'm trying to get into some of the raid content. But as far as being on Destiny on a consistent basis, like recently my routine has been I play Fortnite. Like I finally finished the season. I got Darth Vader, so I'm happy for the season. I got this Shinron glider from Dragon Ball, so that's really cool. And those were like the two big missions that I had for this season of Fortnite, and I did both of those, so I'm good for this season of Fortnite. So now I'm on Destiny because they just announced their major Lightfall expansion, which they announced years ago at this point, and we're finally getting there, and we're going to like a city setting. We're getting a new darkness power, the Strand power.
But it costs $100, right, for this Lightfall?
I mean that's the deluxe edition. That'll come with all the season passes for the first year of Lightfall. It'll come with the campaign. It'll come with all this. Destiny's free to play now. So Destiny 1 was a $60 game that had like approximately $30 expansions every. So Destiny typically every time they drop a $100 edition, it's going to be a roadmap of stuff you're getting. You're not getting $100 worth that day, but you're getting like $60 worth that day, and then probably another $60 worth over the course of the next year. It's just if you know you're going to play that, then you're saving $20 because you know if you're going to play every season and do the season pass and do essentially their battle pass equivalent and try and get those exotics, and if you know that's what you're going to do, you essentially save money by buying the $100 edition up front versus buying this $40 version and then buying every single season the new season pass and all of that. So I mean, and that's with a lot of these, like Fortnite's the same way. It makes more sense to buy more V-Bucks at a time than it does to buy them like 5 here, 5 here, because if you know you're going to spend the money anyway, you might as well spend more up front and spend it over a longer amount of time than spending small piecemeal things here and there.
I get you, but I want to hear like you were going somewhere wrong, like because Lightfall is coming out. It comes out 2023 in February. There's a lot going on with it, and like you were getting like to a major point when it comes to Destiny. And I really want to hear what your end game is with this, because the hype that you bring into this game, I'm here for listening to it. I'm watching the trailer as you're talking about
it. Destiny lore is extremely deep. Like Destiny's a game that I feel like, I know I've talked a lot about Final Fantasy XIV. I've talked a lot about Monster Hunter, and both of those are games that are games as a service, ongoing live games. Like I could play them for years to come and play nothing but them and get super deep and be happy. And Destiny has kind of been one of those games for me over the PS4 generation. So I'm super excited. Like they did Destiny, the original. Then they did Taken King, and that was huge. And Destiny 2 came out, and then Forsaken came out. And Forsaken was huge. Then Beyond Light came out, and Beyond Light was huge. And The Witch Queen came out, and The Witch Queen was huge. And I'm skipping over a lot of the smaller, like Curse of Osiris and like Crota's End, and like a lot of these smaller
There's so many
DLC.
sub games. Wow.
Well, I mean, these are all like DLC packs that when they come out, it's a story, it's a campaign of varying like depth, and it's something that builds into the larger universe. Like the Leviathan raid, that was a raid that in base Destiny 2, the big Cabal guys that were in the trailer you're watching for Lightfall, the guy who was the final raid boss in the Callus raid is the like leader of those Cabal, and they're now working with the Darkness, which the Hive was primarily like associated with the Darkness, but now the Hive have the ability to use the light because Osiris died, but then Savathun, who is like one of the Hive queens, impersonated Osiris and learned the secrets of the light and have allowed the Hive to now use light. And Guardians started using darkness in Beyond Light, and we're getting a new darkness power. So that darkness power was stasis. And that we've learned from the Fallen, because the Fallen were working with the darkness to try and just get power. And that's how they obtain stasis powers. But now this strand power, whatever this new race is that lives in the city that we're seeing in the new Lightfall trailer, that's a totally different darkness power, because so you're getting a grappling hook. At first it was just going to be a hunter ability, the grappling hook, but then they're like, no, this is too cool and works too well with the gameplay. We have to give everybody a grappling hook.
So everyone's like, it's web slinging now. I saw the trailer for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super exciting because like the concept of the power is the string is reaching through reality, so you don't need to have a point to swing off.
Screw mechanic. Screw logic.
Well, I mean, they have a logical explanation where the strands reach through to a dimension where there's something there, no matter where you point it to swing off of.
I like it. It sounds ridiculous all by itself, but like I like it. I like where this is going. I do have a buddy who's hardcore into Destiny. Frosty Phoenix, Fukuname. He's big into Destiny, so like all the stuff that you're saying, if he's listening to this, he's probably going like, yep, like loving all this. But would you say that Destiny is one of the first RPG shooter games? Like, were there others before this?
No, that's RPG mechanics have been trying to get pushed into games for years. This is one of the first like shooter MMOs that I've personally seen take off, and it's because of like the gameplay. Bungie, like shooting any gun in Destiny at any point in time, no matter what you're shooting at, whether it's another person or an enemy or whatever, feels good. And that is because of Bungie. Like, they have every weapon class. They keep adding new things. They added swords. Those felt great. They added bows. Those feel great. They added this new thing called a glaive. That, like, when I think of a glaive, I think of it from Monster Hunter, but this is just kind of like a glaive that you hold like a staff that can shoot. It's... So, yeah, RPG mechanics have been in games. I feel like Destiny was the first games as a service that feels as... And now, like, it's gone full MMO, but for a while it kind of toted that line of, like, this is your Call of Duty every year, but this is also your World of Warcraft deep, your raiding in it. You have like a raiding party and you coordinate times and like you have to pay attention to mechanics. So it toted that line. It's gone a lot farther into the MMO side, but it still has that great shooting. It still has like the characters, the lore, just all that stuff. And so that, for me, I remember Destiny coming out and it being a really special game, and now here we are 8 years later, and Destiny is stronger than it's ever been, and more people got into it over time. Like, I played the first look alpha for Destiny 1 on PlayStation 4. It was like a thing if you pre-ordered it. I remember I pre-ordered it physically as early as I could possibly pre-order it. Like, they just announced the game essentially, and I pre-ordered it to get a poster of the Fallen, which I still have, just because it's a really cool poster. And then all the other bonuses of, oh, if you pre-ordered it on PlayStation, because at the time I pre-ordered it for PlayStation 3, but then it came out on PlayStation 4 PlayStation 4 was out by the time it came out, so I switched my pre-order to PlayStation 4, and having a PlayStation 4 pre-order got you the first look alpha, where you got to play the game and do public events and stuff like that, and I remember that being insane. And then they had the beta where they introduced strikes and doing the Devil's Lair strike in the beta for the first time. That was great. And then the game comes out and the loot cave happens. Like, Destiny has just consistently over the past 8 years had moments, had things that has had stories. They have secrets. They have community events. They had people go out in the woods in real life and like dig up a box that they buried there that had the next clue for the in-game raid.
I can hear the excitement in your voice. It sounds like you're really into this world. Let me ask you this though, and I'm gonna ask like a variation of this question at the end of the show. But say I got myself a PS5, and like someone told me to start playing Destiny. Like, how would I go about playing Destiny? Like what would be the best approach for someone like say myself in particular, haven't played like a console game about 10 years, got a PS5, wanted to play like a shooter game like Destiny or Destiny itself. How would you like approach me like to go play a game like that?
Well, I mean, I'd say now is probably the best time. By the time this is out, this might like be dead. Like, as of recording, August 27th, 2022. All the DLC packs are free because they announced their next expansion, and so all the expansions that are in the game currently are free. What I'd recommend doing is the game's free to play. Hop into the game. They give you the opening mission. Play the opening mission. And then it's really up to you because you could buy whatever expansion you want, and all the expansions will have raids. It'll have dungeons, it'll have strikes, it'll have a whole new area. So any of these expansions, kind of maybe find the one that you can have play with other people. Like, I haven't beat the Witch Queen, so like if you were to hop on, we could do the Witch Queen campaign together, and that's in and on itself a good story and a good spot for you to start understanding the different races in the game and deciding like, what's up with these Vex guys? I want to go do something with the Vex. Okay, there's the whole Vault of Glass, and there's all that content. Or you see the Cabal, and you think the Cabal are cool because they're just kind of warlords of space. And we could go do all the Cabal stuff. Or the Hive. There's so much Hive content. There's... So, like, all the enemy factions, you kind of see through all the different things. But if there's, like, an enemy faction you like, or if there's a weapon you see, you're like, yo, how do I get that weapon? There are, like, exotic quests. So, I think it's just a matter of get in, play whatever expansion you feel like playing. Start playing one of the expansions that's available, and just play through that. And then by the end of that, you'll have a good enough concept of the gameplay loop, the feel. Like, you'll have a bunch of side quests that you would have built up through, like, hey, this quest had me go to this planet, and this planet's like, oh, well, if you open 10 chests on this planet, you'll get like a legendary gun. And so you want to go, you don't necessarily, that planet's not part of what you're doing actively right now, but you can go back. Like, there's a lot of hooks. I think start free to play. Like, if you're a competitive shooter, try out Crucible. Try out doing the Vanguard strikes. There is a lot of content that you don't necessarily need to be doing the latest and greatest stuff. There's enough free content in the game, in my opinion, that you can get a feel for whether you like it or not, and whether you want to get into it or not, whether the world's for you, whether, like, whatever it is about the game, like, whether it's for you or not. I feel like just what's there and what's free, that'll be at your disposal. And then it's like, oh, well, I was in PvP and somebody used stasis powers on me. How do I get stasis powers? You want to go do the Beyond Light campaign, which involves the Fallen and them, and the darkness is kind of like just the giant space pyramids of the darkness are just a constant threat that's throughout all of these things, and you see like the different groups they work with and like the story that unfolds and their relationship with the Traveler, who's like our beacon of the light, and they're there's a lot in Destiny.
No, it sounds like it's something for everybody. If you like shooters, it's like a good adventure game. If you like doing random missions, it's like you got like a lot you can do inside of these games. That's cool. I'm watching the gameplay right now. As you talk about this, it's like it's painting the world for me. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean, you could also just go on YouTube. There's a YouTuber. My name is Biff. And he does a lot of lore breakdowns where he explains these connections, and these videos will be hours long. And you'll start, like I remember Savathun first coming up in the lore around the Oryx raid, because Oryx was the big bad in the Taken King, and Oryx is one of 3 siblings, and his sister Savathun is the one who is like she's the Witch Queen. She is the big bad for the newest expansion.
All right on. It seems like when I do get myself a PlayStation, I should probably pick up Destiny. I think Frosty and yourself will probably appreciate, someone else joining along in the Destiny crew and playing like that. This very extensive, very popular, and ever growing game. It sounds like.
All right.
But the question, go ahead.
I was just saying, I didn't want to hold you too long. I know the past couple of weeks we've been going extra long. I mean, it's been great content, but it seemed like you had one last question.
Yeah, the one last question is, so it's August. There's a lot of games out there. What game would you give an unbiased opinion that folks should probably be playing right now? PlayStation, Xbox, PC, otherwise? I know, I'll put you on the spot.
That's a really good question. It really depends on the gamer. There's not one thing that I think is right for everybody. Not one shoe fits all. Splatoon will be getting a lot of people together in the next Pokemon. Like, we have a lot of really big, like, community-focused things coming out. And so between Splatoon and Pokemon on the Switch side, if you're on PlayStation, God of War and The Last of Us Part 1 come out in the next couple months. If you're on Xbox, I mean, there's stuff on Game Pass, I'm sure.
This guy.
I mean, they don't have any big fall games. I mean, that's a consistent problem Xbox has. They don't have big fall games. Last year they had 2 big fall games, and that was great for them. But though now in 2022, fall's coming up. Nintendo has stuff. Sony has stuff. Microsoft has Game Pass. I mean, and
that's what they're putting their money on. They're like the DC of gaming right now. No, I get you.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say one size fits all. It's always a great time to get into Final Fantasy 14. Monster Hunter content's going on.
There it is. I was waiting for it.
Destiny's really great right now. Like, I don't even have Final Fantasy game time right now because I have so much other stuff I'm playing, like between Apex and Fortnite and Destiny, and just like all the content I have over those games, plus Splatoon and Pokemon coming out and being excited for those. Like, yeah, it's not one size fits all. Like, I'm going to be playing a lot and doing a lot, and like, I'm back into Destiny, so that's always, there's definitely going to be one night where I lose a lot of sleep trying to do a raid, but yeah, those are some of the big things. Stay away from Saints Row. I hear it's really bad.
I keep hearing negative things about it, which is odd because they really did hype that game up before it came out.
Yeah, I mean, they had a marketing budget, but it doesn't seem like they had the development dollars. They had money to put where their mouth was, but they didn't have money to put in their mouth. So
they have anything to feed you. It sounds like, yeah. So, if you are getting into games, playing games right now, make sure you leave some love out there for Anton Sixx out there on on the gaming world when it comes to good God, I can't think of the game I was talking about. What game? Final Fantasy. Yeah, he's not playing Final Fantasy, so like make sure you leave some hashtags out there, like for Anton,
or tag me at Anton Sixx, or post it in the Discord.
I mean that works too.
Yeah, ChessyControllerPodcast.com. If you post something in our Discord, I'll guarantee see it. So if you're negative, you will also get banned. So like,
you'll see it though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll see it. So I'm always watching. I'll know if you've been naughty or nice.
There you go. He's the Santa Claus of Discord. You expect a gift pretty soon with your face on top of it over Santa Claus. So like that's going to be that too. But this has been fun, man. Like you really taught me a lot about Destiny. I wasn't expecting like I actually want to play it now. I'm watching the gameplay. I've been watching gameplay this entire time. So I actually want to.
It's on Stadia, and you can play the free-to-play stuff in a browser on your Mac. Just in Google Chrome, you can go through Stadia and play it. I know you were looking for.
He knew to say it.
You were talking about what controller you should get. You could get a PlayStation controller or Xbox controller, plug it up to your Mac, and play through Stadia completely for free.
Dude really is Santa. My goodness. All right. I like the attention to detail, Anton. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. That's the show. I gotta buy a controller. I gotta go play some Destiny. Frosty's gonna be all over me with the game too. Good God. Well, what have I done? Hanging out with you, man. Get me into this damn gaming world. That's Hey guys, D here of FTL Nerd Talk. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about FTL Nerd Talk. Got a lot of different shows for all of you. Make sure you tune in every week for a brand new episode. Take it easy.